So now, as promised, we're going to take a detailed look at how we use for and since within the present perfect to allow us to describe durations of time. Okay, so we're describing durations of time. So it has been raining for 2 hours. For 2 hours. For we use plus a period of time. So it has been raining for 2 hours. So on this example you can see the time now is 10 a.m. So it has been raining for 2 hours. So this period of time, okay, is describing 2 hours. So it started raining here 2 hours ago. Yeah? Are you with me so far? Good. So the second example, it has been raining since 8 a.m. So if you take the same example of the time now is 10 a.m, it has been raining since 8 a.m. So the action of raining began at 8 a.m. So here we're describing the time period that started very specifically at this time in the past up until the present. Yeah? So you can see what we're really doing is with for, we're taking the current time and we're adding a time period onto the back of it in the past. Whereas with since, okay, we know the time now, but we're not just adding any old time period, we're starting at a very specific point in the past. Yeah? So for plus a time period, since plus a very specific point in time. Now, let us quickly take a look at some other examples of using for and since. So, periods of time. Periods of time can be described in many, many different ways, but here are just some examples. Okay, so for 2 hours. It has been raining for 2 hours. It has been raining for a long time. It has been raining for a week. It has been raining for 5 days. It has been raining for 20 minutes. And we can also use phrases like ages or years. It has been raining for ages. I have been studying English for years. Okay, so periods of time, and there are many, many different ways for you guys to describe a period of time. But with since, we need a specific starting point. Okay, now we're talking about a specific starting point, not a precise starting point. A precise starting point would be perhaps 8 a.m. Okay, but our starting point might just be Monday. So it has been raining since Monday. At some point on Monday it started raining and it has continued since. Our specific time could be the 12th of May. We could just describe something that has started happening in April and has continued. Or we might just say since lunch. Again, more specific times, but specific, not precise. It has been raining since we arrived, or it has been raining since I got up. Okay, so with these we are just describing us noticing the action of raining. It was probably raining before I got up. Okay, but I was asleep, so I didn't notice. I only noticed it was raining when I got up. Yeah, so we're describing actions that started at a specific time, not a precise time. Okay, now with for as well, there are some alternatives which you may hear and also may use, and these are all and in. Now I hope you like my little sort of drawing of a battery. The reason I included it as a battery because we use all, okay, in positive sentences, but we only use in negative sentences. Okay, so let me try and give you some examples. So John has worked here for a long time. Okay, John has worked here since April. Yeah? Okay, but now let's take a look at for in more detail. Let's try and use all. Okay, so John has worked here all his life. Yeah? John has worked here all his life. Or John has lived in Italy all his life. Yeah? So from the starting point, when he was born, to right now, that duration. Okay? So we can use all as an alternative for in a positive sentence. Now, in we can use as an alternative, but only in a negative sentence. So John hasn't worked here in 10 years. He used to work here, but 10 years ago he left to work somewhere else. So John hasn't worked here in 10 years. Yeah, so all is an alternative for positive statements, in is an alternative for negative statements. And particularly when you are using the present perfect to write a negative statement that requires a time period, in is probably the most appropriate preposition for you to use. Okay, so remember using in, okay, for your negative statements. Right, okay, I think that has covered everything that we need to cover relating to since and for. So in the next lesson, we're going to take a look at using when and how long. So that's reviewing simple past with the present perfect.